What happened to Ed Gein's house, the farmhouse that became one of America's darkest legends? In November 1957, police entered a small, isolated farmhouse in Plainfield, Wisconsin. They were looking for a missing woman named Bernice Worden. What they found instead would horrify the entire nation. Inside, officers discovered human remains, furniture, lamps, and even clothing made from human skin. Skulls were used as bowls. A table leg was reinforced with a human bone. And in a shed nearby, they found Worden's body hanging upside down. The man responsible was a quiet, reclusive handyman named Ed Gein. He lived alone on that farm, surrounded by memories of his mother and by the gruesome trophies of his crimes. Ed Gein was born in 1906 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. When he was a child, his mother, Augusta, moved the family to a 195-acre farm outside the tiny town of Plainfield. She wanted to keep her sons away from the world, away from alcohol, and especially away from women. She filled their days with hard labor and strict religious lessons about sin and punishment. After his father died in 1940, Ed stayed home to care for his mother and brother. But in 1944, a fire broke out on the property. His brother Henry died under mysterious circumstances. Some believe Ed may have killed him. When his mother died a year later, something in Ed Gein broke. He boarded up her bedroom and the rest of the house she had used, leaving them untouched. Her room stayed perfectly clean, while the rest of the house fell into chaos. Alone on the farm, Gein began reading books about anatomy and cannibalism. At night, he started digging up graves, stealing the bodies of women who reminded him of his mother. He used their skin and bones to make household items, masks, and suits. He wanted, as one psychiatrist later said, to crawl into his mother's skin. In 1954, Mary Hogan, a local tavern owner, vanished. 3 years later, hardware store owner Bernice Worden disappeared too. Police followed the trail to Gein's farm and uncovered one of the most disturbing crime scenes in U.S. history. Gein confessed to killing both women and to robbing several graves. He was declared insane and sent to a state hospital, where he remained until his death in 1984. But what happened to his farmhouse, the so-called House of Horrors? After Gein's arrest, the property drew intense public fascination. People came from miles away to see it. In 1958, the farm was scheduled to go up for auction. But just days before the sale, it burned to the ground in a mysterious fire. Some believed it was arson, an act of anger from locals who didn't want that dark place to become a tourist attraction. Others thought it was simply fate, cleansing a symbol of evil from the earth. The fire left nothing but ashes. The land was later cleared, and today there's nothing left of Ed Gein's farmhouse. Just an empty field, quiet, ordinary, and unremarkable. Yet for many, the memory remains, the story of a lonely man whose obsession with his mother and the dead reshaped American horror forever. His crimes inspired movies like Psycho, the Texas Chain Saw Massacre, and The Silence of the Lambs. But behind all the Hollywood thrill, one chilling truth remains. The real horror began on a cold Wisconsin farm, in a house where silence hid unspeakable things.